Okay, today is the birthday of Arne Jacobsen, a very important Danish architect, born on the day of February 11th. Let's read a little bit about him. So Arne Emil Jacobsen, as you see, born the 11th of February 1902 and died in 1971, was a well-known Danish architect and furniture designer. He is remembered for his contribution to architectural functionalism and for the worldwide success he enjoyed with simple but effective chair designs. He said this: if a building becomes architecture, then it is art. I like it, and I agree with him. If a building becomes architecture, because not all buildings become architecture, then it is art, but only then, when the building becomes architecture. He apparently also said, but I'm not sure because other people said this too. But I found this being connected with him. Design is fine, history is mine. You know, a rather amusing statement. Maybe all of us at one point will have the chance to say the same thing. Design is fine, history is mine. Here is the man, here was the man sitting comfortably. Maybe that was the egg chair that he designed. The Danes are very good at building chairs and in general designing. Mid-century, mid-20th century Danish design is famous worldwide. They had great designers. The king of chairs was a Dane himself. So anyway, Arne Jacobsen, he built a lot and he built well, and his shirt is, freshly ironed. Nice. I don't think too many architects today look so sharp as he does, at least in terms of, his ironed shirt. Smoking, but a pipe, Arne Jacobsen. Here in a more philosophical mode, this is the egg chair that he designed. Drawings of Arne Jacobsen. Well, this is a petrol station, a gas station, which was built, and you are going to see it. A rather, light-hearted rendering. It was built, and you are going to see it. It's just like you see it here. This is a cinema or a theater was built. This is a famous hotel, the SAS Hotel. You are going to see it. It's famous. It is one of the best examples of functionalist architecture for this program, a hotel. He designed everything, the building, the furniture, everything, maybe even the glassware. As you can see, he designed glasses as well. The city hall, I think. You are going to see it, the world famous helicoidal stair. We have one in Bucharest too, at the Institute of Architecture, meaning the University of Architecture and Urban Planning or Urbanism. I don't know. This is some kind of a house of the future with a heliport on top of it, and the car bigger than the helicopter entering or exiting the garage. This is the house. Now, if this is a functionalist architect, then it means, a rather unusual kind of functionalist. A functionalist who loved form. What else do we see here? Clearly a love of form. But there is logic here. The biggest room is the living room, number 22, and then you see the bedrooms decrease in size. the master bedroom and then a bigger bedroom. I mean, a smaller bedroom for one person and even smaller and even smaller. But the beds didn't decrease their sizes. And then the last little room is the toilet. But before arriving there is the bathroom. So there is some kind of a logic here in a circular way, on the round. I think he had also a sense of humor. I mean, you look at this drawing and you get it that he had a sense of humor. An artwork, maybe a design for a rug or something, a tapestry, design for a house. So he was born in 1902. We have to understand when he was your age, the students or young architects, it was still before the Second World War. Bellevue Beach, Klampenborg, Denmark, 1932. So he was 30 years old when he designed this. I don't know exactly what he did here. Maybe this, I don't know what it is, an observation tower, but how do you arrive there? I don't see a stair or something. Whatever it is, the sea is beautiful, but the structure, I know, is not particularly, provocative but the simplicity of Danish design can be seen through and through. Usually the Danes are rather modest and subdued and reticent. Bjarke Ingels is an exception. He represents a new kind of Dane. Bella Vista residential complex in the same place, Klampenborg, Copenhagen, 1931, 1934. So he was a little bit over 30. He started when he was 29, this complex of buildings, 90 years ago, a little bit more, well, around 90 years ago, he built it. Yes. Well, this architecture is not very strange to us at all, because that's how we kind of do projects these days, meaning almost 90 years, well, more than 90 years after he built it. The car is delicious. I wish I had that car, even though I don't have a driving license, but the contrast between the car and the buildings is enticing. No, it is a beautiful car. Architects in general love cars, but in general, they also have driving licenses. Anyway, housing complex from 1931, 1934. Some newer cars here. We have to acknowledge that the old car looked much better than the new ones, or it's just nostalgia. It's possible, it's just nostalgia. The Bellevue Theatre and Restaurant from 1935, 1936, Arne Jacobsen in the same place, Klampenborg, I guess a suburb or a certain sector or zone in Copenhagen. Bellevue Theatre. Yeah, it does look like it indeed, like a theater, or a cinema or something. Still standing. But there is some innovation here. The interior is rather striking with that, mobile roofing that allows for fresh air to come in. And I didn't see too many theaters like this. I mean, of course, there are pavilions in parks and so on, but not this kind of urban theater where the roofing opens up to the blue sky in this way. Arne Jacobsen in Copenhagen. Now, this is the restaurant. He probably designed the chairs too. Here is the chair, actually. The very same chair which he designed for the restaurant. And I keep telling everybody, try to design a chair. It's a difficult task, but a very rewarding task. It's nice to design a chair. It's even nicer if you can build one. But you can see it's exquisite in its detailing, and it's very functional. It's solid, but probably not very heavy. Maybe he used teak, like the Danes used teak a lot, which is a very light essence of wood, but very resistant, very strong. Once I found in New York, thrown to the garbage, a chair by none other than the Hans Wegner, the king of chairs. Somebody threw it to the garbage, and it was in good shape, excellent shape, with the exception of the fabric. The fabric was a little bit eroded, but not in bothering ways. Unfortunately, I lost it, but it was a very, very nice and very comfortable chair. You can find it on eBay, but it costs a lot. Anyway, nostalgia for me. I left it with my daughter, and then she got rid of it to my despair. Interesting plan too, also of this theater. Very simple, very functional, and yet with something that escapes banality. This is Denmark. Denmark, which has a lot of talent in the field of design. I mean, let's not forget, because we talked about Sydney and Melbourne and Australia, the opera in Sydney was built by a Dane, John Utzon. And I don't know if you know, but Bjarke Ingels has as a dream to make a building as significant, as important as the opera in Sydney. He considered that although he built a lot, he didn't yet build such a quintessential, paradigmatic building like the opera in Sydney. So I guess he still looks up to John Utzon, his countryman. This is the petrol station, the gas station that we saw the sketch of the rendering from 1936. Here it is. And if it is something special, is this canopy, which is very thin, and it has that column that, makes one think of Maillard, the great Swiss bridge builder that we talked about a few days ago. It's the same type of column, but here is just one in the center of the circle. Arne Jacobsen. I remember, and I did make a reference to this short story in the past, in a great movie by Ingmar Bergman, the Swedish film director. There is a scene where a doctor, needs some gas for his car, and he stops it at the gas station, and the man, the owner of the gas station, of course, give him fills the tank with the gas. And then the doctor wants to pay, and the man said, no, 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 doctor. I remember you once helped someone in my family when there was sickness, illness in my family. I will never forget. And he said something like this, which amused me a lot. Certain things cannot be paid even with gas. This was the irony of Ingmar Bergman. I mean, can you imagine our world without gas? Of course, now we have, electricity and electrical batteries, but still, if Saudi Arabia is moving ahead to build that 170 kilometers linear city, it's because of gas. So Anyway, the invasion of Iraq happened because of gas. And the conflicts between Russia and Europe are in good measure, revolving around the gas, gas, gas. What would the world do without gas, without petrol? To use the word used in the Danish description of this project. Well, a building by Arne Jacobsen and a Porsche in front of it. I don't know a lot about cars, but I recognize a Porsche and it's even written on it. Anyway, the column Ala Mayar, bicycles, beautiful Scandinavian bicycles. I love Scandinavia for its love of bicycles. I don't know if beauty will save the world, as Dostoevsky said, or even if beauty will, if not beauty, what did I want to say? Yeah, if love, I don't even know if love would save the world, but the bicycle, I think, will. I venerate bicycles. I think yes. If beauty and love fail to save the world, the bicycle will not fail. We need the bicycles. Imagine the whole world. Imagine Putin going to work, if he goes to work on a bicycle. I don't think he would have started the war. No, I don't think someone. I don't think someone who uses a bicycle to go to work would start such an atrocious war. No, it doesn't make sense. Sterling House, a house in Copenhagen, uh, an apartment building in the corner of a street, or two streets rather. Uh, he built better buildings than this one. But it still, if you look at the context, it still has a certain level of modernity with its square windows. Now, this town is one of my preferred works by him. It's a town hall in Solerød, I guess a section of Copenhagen, 1938, 1942. It's very, you would say it's very predictable and banal, but I don't know. I do like it for some reason. Um, Although it is gray and it is functionalist, but it's still subdued. It's not dwarfing you. Maybe I overestimated it. Now I'm beginning to have second thoughts. But I do like the tree. But the tree was not built by. No. I think I made a mistake. We built two similar ones. This one I like more. The Aarhus City Hall. It's still a city hall. From 1930, at the same time he built them, 1939, 1942. Here you say is the same building, but it's not. But this one has this, tower, the clock tower, which gives it some verticality, and it's exquisitely built. And the Danes are very good at this. I mean, look at this staircase. It's perfectly done. They have great ethics in work and great craftsmen. Arne Jacobsen. I particularly like this space, this central space, this atrium inside this building. There is logic, but there is also sensitivity. He designed everything, the door handles, maybe even the door knobs, everything. He designed the chairs, the tables in this conference room where the decisions are taken. I mean, look at the exquisite design, detail of the steps of the stairs. I mean, he was an architect, but he was also a designer, an industrial designer, if we can say so. So the minute attention to details is explainable, perhaps in this way. Now, these terrace houses are, I would say, remarkable, and he understood the essence of row houses quite well. But this is of course a model, but we are going to see how they were built. Here they are. Why did he rotate them? Why didn't he make them parallel with the street? Because rotations bring in some some dynamic qualities. Another another town hall, 1952, 1956. Sorry, I was a little bit impatient with this. I was hoping to have another view of this staircase because I admire very much the perfection, which is not a cold perfection as usually a perfection is. It's still quality warms up even perfection. And it is exquisitely designed and built. Otherwise, the building, with the exception that there are vertical windows that together form a horizontal band, it's rather unspectacular. But maybe not everything has to be spectacular. I'm still a little bit anxious. I don't believe why, I don't understand what happened to the first presentation. I lost a lot of work. Everything I did today vanished. It's even possible that I didn't save it, but I don't know. It's, you know, you make a very simple building and then you bring in a few, beautiful, dramatic sculptural trees. If I am to insult them by saying sculptural, not really insult them, but I think nature should not be described necessarily in these terms. The tree is, as what the building doesn't have, and it's fine as it is. It's a contrast between the tree and the building. The building is kind of receding and saying, "You, dear tree, I give you the stage. You are the main character. I step aside a little bit, if you don't mind." And of course, the tree doesn't mind. So the building becomes just a background without agitation for these magnificent trees. Look at them. They are beautiful, but they are beautiful because they were given birth by a great artist who was, I claimed in a little poem I wrote that he was not a professional, but an amateur, a lover of giving birth to the world. That is God Himself. Another housing, maybe a little bit stern. It's Denmark. But maybe you understand, if you look at the work of Arne Jacobsen, maybe you understand a little bit Bjarke Ingels, because Bjarke Ingels also works with, kind of these Lego arrangements. And this can be seen also to an extent in the work of Arne Jacobsen, particularly in, like in a project like this one with checkers. This reminds me a little bit of the opera project in Sydney by, the previous architect we talked about, Griffin, Walter Burley Griffin, and his wife, Marion Mahoney Griffin. Another town hall. My God, this man built a lot of town halls. But here we start with the door handle designed by him, nothing shocking or provocative, and it's fine. After all, why should a door handle be provocative? We have enough provocations in the world. We don't need also a door handle that is provocative. The lovers of bricks that all good architects are. It's rather interesting the way the mortar is used, and two kinds of mortars with two different colors or nuances. The vertical ones and the horizontal ones. There was some attention there to detail, was it not? A school. This is a famous school from the functionalist school, so to speak. Very well done with courtyards. A pleasure to study there. Look at this. It looks maybe a little bit rigid, but imagine studying in a classroom which has its own courtyard. And yes, the picture is in black and white. I'm sure in the summer when vegetation grows, it's animated by something which cannot be properly seen in a black and white picture. A tree, and to have a doorway towards the courtyard for the children is not bad at all. Yeah, they are. But when was this built? In 1957. So, more than 70 years ago. No, more than 60 years ago. More than 65 years ago. That is 66 years ago. The school, one floor, one story. But you see in the cross section, the building has some variation because of those two windows, one at the level of the ground and one above. So light enters generously in the classrooms. And here they are, the young Danes, enjoying the life of a country where the people are the happiest on earth, apparently. Arne Jacobsen. Architecture and nature, architecture and the trees, architecture and the children, architecture and courtyards, architecture and the sun. They value the sun because they don't have so much sunlight as we do. They value it very much. So the school has some intimacy because one classroom is almost like one family, house. It doesn't crush you as being a big institution. It doesn't look like a big institution. It is a sum of, private classrooms that also have a private courtyard. Not bad. You almost feel like you are studying at home with the benefit of having some, children, some friends together with you. Now, this is the SAS Royal Hotel in Copenhagen, and I said it's a famous hotel from 1958 to 1960, more than 60 years ago. We already know the aesthetics of Arne Jacobsen. He designed everything, as I said. I don't know if SAS is not, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the Swedish Airlines, the Scandinavian Airlines, something like this, but maybe not. Yeah, I used to think in this way, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know what those three letters stand for, but it is a famous hotel and one of his most known works. As I said, he designed everything. You see, this is not. Look at the corner of the building. It's almost that vague frontier someone here in the audience thought about. It's like the frontier between the building and the outside is evaporating almost because it's exquisitely designed and built. How come in the corner there is no column at all? It's Some stewardesses, yeah, it probably has to do with the Scandinavian airlines, but I don't know what that maybe it's the Swedish airlines. I don't know. But these two ladies here, they seem to be stewardesses, yes. The egg chair, we are going to see his furniture design more in detail at the end. Interesting bus there. This is, you know, a picture probably from 60 years ago. The drawing, pencil drawing on tracing paper, I guess. A chocolate factory, Copenhagen, 1961. Wow. A lot of chocolate is being made here. I mean, considering the size of the chocolate factory. My God, my God. Would be nice, no, to pay a visit to a chocolate factory. Why is it that people love chocolate so much? Even Fernando Pessoa has a poem, you know, the tobacco shop, where he has some lines around, you know, about a chocolate. It's something magical about chocolate, really. Besides bicycles, I think chocolates are very close to, you know, claim, you know, saving the world. Maybe if Putin would need some good chocolate, would think twice about continuing the horrid war. Maybe he didn't eat enough chocolate in his life, and he didn't bike enough. The National Bank of Denmark, after chocolate, money to buy the chocolate. Look at this, God. You know, banks are always imposing. You know, it's very hard to make a modest bank. Somebody told me, an art critic in Sibiu told me that artists always talk about money and bankers always talk about art. Because we always talk about what we don't have. Artists don't have money and bankers don't have art. That's why they talk about art, and artists, poor artists, talk about money. And I love this hallway, and again, he's a master of staircases. It's splendid in its, you know, functionalist or international style design. It's really floating there, you know, vertically. Is so without weight, and I'm sure is functioning perfectly, and it's very stable. But it looks otherworldly somehow. Even the child seems to contemplate it. No, really, there are some beautiful pictures being taken with this hallway in this, what is it, a bank. But this is a metaphysical interior. It's too bad it is in a bank. Maybe not. Maybe it's not too bad. It's, you know, it's making up for what money takes away from us, and that is dreaming, because this staircase is like a dream. Although it's very logical. You see, one of the paradoxes, functionalists become poetic, hieratic almost. You know, it's the mysticism of functionalism. It's a mystical form of functionalism, really. I mean, this could have been almost a church, the nave of a church. If there were no, if those chairs would not have been there, yeah, it could have been. And the stair to be the altar, you know, with several levels. Arne Jacobsen is teaching us something else about functionalism. And here it is in the urban context, in the urban fabric. Sorry about the Alami obsession with the ownership of their photographs. They have great photographs, but they ruin them by splashing their name everywhere. Sweden, a sports hall, 1965. The drawing, if it was not a little bit curved here, no, I wonder, maybe the curvature is because I see some curvature here too. Maybe it's because of the way the photograph, or I don't know, the print was made. But if this was perfectly horizontal, this could have been almost done by Miss van der Rohe. Yeah, it was something with the way the picture was taken. No, no, he is an architect who must be known by all of us. St. Catherine's College in Oxford, UK, 1964, 1966. So he arrived in Great Britain as well. He was one of the most important representatives of, functionalism and international style. Um, it is quality here, clearly. And when there is quality, the building becomes architecture, meaning it becomes art. Now, this is a city hall in Germany, rather interesting, 1966, 1973. The only thing that bothers me a little bit here with this building is that I don't know if I can call it the impressionism of the opaque walls is a little bit challenging to the fragmentarism of the windows. I will try to explain further when we arrive at a more detailed picture. But there are interesting things here. I mean, look at the interior. He was a courageous designer. He didn't just follow the comfortable road to success by a comfortable form of functionalism. Now, because he had the soul of an artist. I mean, you look even the treatment of this facade. Yeah, this is what I try to say. Maybe I have another picture. Yeah, like here, you see the variations, the multiplicities present on this wall are a little bit, I don't know, for me, it's not enough contrast between the fragmentarism of the walls here and the fragmentarism of the windows. If I am to to risk, subjective evaluation. Plus, I like usually windows that are, fragmented like this. But here you have this panel, steel, probably made in steel, and maybe it could make you think a little bit of some kind of cages, maybe thinking of a prison a little bit. Although it's a rich building and sculptural, it has nobility. But in certain, like in this picture, maybe I don't know. For some reason, he fragmented the glass parts of the building in this way. So you can become a little bit dizzy because of it. I think. I mean, I would. But it's still interesting. It's a good building by Arne Jacobsen. It's a good building, and it has dignity. It has variations in the geometry. But in some pictures, like this one, I come back to it. It seems to be a little bit busy for my taste, but not in all of them. Like here also, I think it's interesting what he did. With the contrast, the dialectics between the wall rotated as it is, and then the parts of the building that have glass, and then the panels, the metallic panels in front. What is this? Another town hall and forum in Germany, 1966, 1976. A very large building, as you can see. But again, would you call this just a functionalist building? It functions. It is functional, but it's also sculptural, and it has a level of drama. He was a famous architect and received plenty of commissions. But the building is huge. Another school in Hamburg, a larger school, 1970, 1971. Here is a system of structures that, it almost looks like a university of some sort. Shadows, courtyards. It's a mega school. And this seems to be the narrow side, no? Or anyway, it's not smaller than this side. So it's quite big. Germany. Look at this. It's the mother of schools, if I can say so, to express myself in a non-academic way. A big institution. Germany, Arne Jacobsen. What is this? Hamburg, Germany. Some kind of office building, I guess. Very pristine, big. I'm getting a little bit impatient. I need to see some incinerators by Griffin. I still can't forget what happened in the first presentation. I just can't. Anyway, I'm a little bit tired of Arne Jacobsen. I admire him. I admire the quality of his work, but I want to see something else. And now I touched something that I should not have touched. And sorry, I am becoming, I think we are very close to the end of the presentation. I had many pictures here, about 250. The Royal Danish Embassy in London, 1976, 1977. So he designed an embassy as well. He had to, with all the success he had. We see here clearly harmony through contrast. This building has nothing in common with this building, and this building has nothing in common with this one. It's fine. It's fine. They were built at different times, so it's fine. Denmark's embassy in London. We see the flag of Denmark. Now we see the flag of Europe. So we see the designer. You know, this is the work of an architect who is also a designer. You know, this kind of detail belongs to a designer, or this curvature here at the corners. At night, color helps. Now, we are at the end of the presentation, some furniture and product design, and in this way we can say goodbye to Arne Jacobsen and wish him again happy birthday. The ant chair, it's interesting how he named his chairs. The ant chair, 1952. The ant chair is a classic of modern chair design. It was designed in 1952 by Arne Jacobsen for use in the canteen of the Danish pharmaceutical firm Novo Nordisk. The ant was named for its approximate similarity to the outline of an ant with its head raised. Here it is. Now, it takes a little bit of imagination. You know, I would not have thought of an ant when I saw this chair, but maybe that's my limit, the limit of my imagination. It's interesting that he has three legs, and the leg, you know, in the front is, you know, dividing the chair in two parts, is symmetrically situated on the axis of the chair. Dot stool model 1954. I guess he liked, you see, chairs with three legs, not four legs. But it shows disposition, a whimsical disposition in a way. You know, the typical functionalist, I don't think would be so playful with three legs as he was. Tongue chair. This one has four chairs. Now this one, yes, in a way. I can see the tongue, a rather big tongue, you know, moving upwards, so to speak. Series 7 chairs. I don't know why they are called Series 7. Arne Jacobsen. The Swan chair, 1958. I would not have thought of the Swan if I saw this chair, not knowing how it was made, but how it was named. The egg, I mentioned it 2 times. Here it is. A red egg, an Easter egg, but the egg is still a little bit cryptically present, a little bit. Maybe if I make an effort, I can see the egg. Here are some other chairs. Why is it that architects design so many chairs? Because they do. Frank Lloyd Wright designed many chairs. He even complained later in his life that he has a certain pain in a certain part of his body because he sat for too long on his own chairs, meaning on the chairs he designed. Miss van der Rohe designed, Le Corbusier designed, Louis Kahn didn't design. Nor did I see a chair designed by Carlos Scarpa. Alvar Aalto designed, Macintosh designed, anyway, Stephen Hall designed, many architects. Here he is, thinking. The architect as a thinker and a doer. He was a doer. And I think this is the last image of this rather long presentation. I thank you for being here. Happy birthday to you again, Arne Jacobsen.